everybody. This is John. Welcome to the weekly water outlook for the Southeast U.S. Well, last week was really a bust as far as that forecast goes. I mentioned there'd be 3 areas of low pressure, and actually the area that did overlap over parts of Tennessee and Kentucky worked out fairly well with anywhere from 3 to 4 inches of precipitation, maybe even 5 inches in a few spots. However, over Alabama and Georgia, parts of the Carolinas, that third system just did not materialize at all. The models were just totally out to lunch on that, and it just didn't work out. So this is the observed precipitation over the last 7 days, and here's the percent of normal. Consequently, because we didn't get that third system, good part of the Southeast U.S. had below normal precipitation for the week, and the only area that received above normal was that area that received the second area of low pressure right here through Tennessee and Kentucky. Now, it was another cold week. Got some interesting information as far as temperatures that you'll hear on this briefing, but last week was definitely cold. Blue and purple, as you know by now, is well below normal temperatures in the 10 to 15 degree below normal range. Green is not so much, more moderate temperatures, but still below normal. Now, there was quite a bit of snow over parts of the U.S. You can see right here the main axis of snow extended from Kansas, Missouri, parts of Illinois, up into Indiana, into the Great Lakes region. A bit of snow here over the Appalachians, the upper higher elevations, and a tad here in parts of Virginia as well. If we want to see where the snow is on the ground, here's an indication of where the snow is on the ground. There is a bit in the higher elevations, but over the southeast U.S., really not any snow at all at this time. But you can see the southern extent in that area. The red line is showing the action track from last week. Now, the Arctic Oscillation, last winter it worked out very well as a predictive tool. This winter it's so-so. We started out here in last year in November and December a positive, and that really didn't work out too good as far as a temperature predictor. But then once we got into December, it really did kick in pretty good. This is a negative phase that we've had here so far in 2014, and as you might be aware, as we get into that negative phase, we get below normal temperatures over a large part of the central and eastern U.S., and that actually worked out very well predicting that. Now, I think what's interesting here is if we look at this area right in here, we do see that the Arctic Oscillation is forecast to exit this negative phase, get into a neutral or even a positive phase as we get into the middle of the month. And that's going to bring some changes to temperatures over the area. Well, let's take a look at the jet stream as we go through the current week. And I wanted to point out these areas in red are the areas of upper energy. And these are really the areas to look at as far as where we're going to get precipitation. So as we start out the week, this is on Monday, we see in the upper Midwest there's some energy, some pockets of red. It's not all that impressive, but it should be enough to bring some light precipitation. Then as we get into the middle of the week, look at the southeast U.S. This looks like both the upper Midwest, there's an area of energy going through, and then the southeast U.S. And we really see as we go into the mid to latter part of the week, this stronger system here in the southeast U.S. right here. This is late on Wednesday, and that's going to bring a mix of rain, snow, maybe some sleet and freezing rain, a wide variety of winter weather to parts of the southeast U.S. So it really looks like the story this week is the upper Midwest and the southeast U.S. being impacted by these pockets of energy. Now here's the precipitation forecast over the next 7 days. Now the dividing line between frozen precipitation and liquid precipitation is going to be over the southeast U.S. Generally speaking in this area right in here, sort of in this region, roughly right in here. So above here in the cold air, it's going to be a messy mix of frozen and maybe even some sleet mixed in and some freezing rain. And then south of that, it's going to be all rain. This is a model outlook of snow accumulation. Very interesting to see here that we have some significant snow. This area in purple here is significant, over 6 inches. I'm not going to say that's going to happen, but right now the model is indicating some possibility of more heavier snow, unfortunately, from Atlanta across parts of South Carolina into North Carolina. I think especially North Carolina could be fairly widespread in this band right in here. So it should be a very messy week with all sorts of precipitation type patterns. So the percent of normal precipitation over the next 7 days, if we look across the whole nation, we see a lot of red, and that's saying precipitation should be below normal. But over the southeast U.S., here's that area of light blue. That does indicate that precipitation could be average above normal over our region. Now, I wanted to look out a little bit further ahead here as far as precipitation goes over the next 10 days. The first image here, this is showing the first period through the 17th of February, and this is that area of precipitation that's coming in this week. And then next week, the second week, I do see some green here, and that's indicating I would call normal precipitation. It doesn't look like it's going to be heavy, but it does look like there will be some. I think generally it's going to average, when we look at percent of normal for that second week, it's going to be fairly close to normal. Okay, now I thought I'd look at animation of temperature, and the area in teal is that Arctic air. And the area in white is that polar vortex in Canada. Now let's take a look as we go through this week if this air sinks south or what it does. There's some interesting trends. Now this is early this week. You can see that area of white and teal does sink down into the upper Midwest, Minnesota, parts of Iowa and Wisconsin. Then as we get into Tuesday, it sort of retreats. It's really the core of that coldest air. It doesn't look like it's sinking down all that far south. It's just sort of brushing the upper Midwest. The white area there, the shades of white, are remaining in Canada. Some lobes pushing down in the far upper Midwest. Now, this is late this week now, and you can see there is a push again into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, but I really don't see it pushing down too far south. It looks like Kansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, southern Indiana, southern Ohio sort of is the extent of that cold air. It really looks like it's beginning to be a little bit more confined. Then as we get into next week, this is this is this weekend. What you see here, look at that cold air. It's beginning to pull back into Canada and much more milder air over most of the area. So really, as we get into even next week, look at this. Look how far back that polar vortex has retreated. So it looks like this week we're going to have some additional pushes of very cold air, but it looks like the trend here is that this cold air is going to retreat back into Canada and give us noticeably milder temperatures as the week progresses. Now here's the temperature anomalies. This is the period February 9th through 17th. This is where we really see starting to get the impacts of that positive Arctic oscillation. Areas in red are indicating above normal temperatures. And look at this, a large part of the country. I think there's going to be a large number of people saying, wow, this feels great after this winter. But it looks like towards the middle of the month of February, and I really think right now through most of the rest of the month of February, we're going to get back into either normal or above normal temperatures over large parts of the country. Matter of fact, if we go out a little bit further, this goes out through the 22nd of February, you can see that area of above normal, mainly to the west. It's interesting. This is not a model. This is an outlook by NOAA, and it's showing a little bit cooler over the southeast U.S. I think it's going to be more normal temperatures, but the core of those warm temperatures will most likely be out to the west. Now let's look at precipitation. This is the long range. This goes out to the end of February through March. This is week 3. It's interesting. Here's week 3, February 23rd through March 1st, the end of February. Look at how warm it looks like. Red is warm. So above normal temperatures over the southeast U.S. Yay, right? And then if we get into the precipitation, no clear signal one way or the other. Maybe over the Ohio Valley, some enhanced precipitation, but it looks to me like it's generally going to be normal. So I think we're going to have a cold, messy week. And after that, we're going to get into this warmer pattern that's going to last right through the end of February, maybe even into early March, and more normal precipitation. So get by this week, then it looks like pretty good weather coming up. Nice talking with you, and I will be updating this briefing again next weekend.